Good evening and welcome to another episode of Chats with Chantla. I am here tonight with an amazing entrepreneur, and she is the owner of the Motherland Plug. So I would love for you to introduce yourself. And just when you're introducing yourself, Patricia, I was going to call you Patrice. I'm so sorry, Patricia. Just let us know a little bit about why you do what you do. And also your special guest. Your special guest that's there with you as well.
Okay. So I'm Patricia, like she said, I'm the owner of the Motherland Plug. I guess, some of the reasons I do what I do is because I'm interested in having a joyous life, and I want to enjoy and have purpose in what I do, and that kind of led me to creating the shop. And my little whining special guest is my son, Ali. Ali, look, you can say hi now.
Hi. You're so perfect.
He's a little cranky because he wants me to continue playing video games. I can't take a break.
Mom, you're in mom mode all the time. All the time. Yeah. It's mom mode. Absolutely. And so I love what you do. And I know that you're going to give us a little bit more insight on what it is that you do. But how long have you been doing this? How long have you been an entrepreneur?
I started my business entrepreneur back in 2012 with just like a little Etsy shop, but I've been doing it full time for almost 4 years now. So
wonderful. And so you're doing so well. So in the beginning, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur?
Well, in the beginning, I just wanted to make some money. I was in college. I was super creative and crafty, and people always wanted me to make stuff. So finally somebody's like, oh, you can, people will pay you for that. And I'm like, really? So I decided to try, and then people started paying me. And then even as I advanced in my educational career and was moving up the ladder, I always kept my business running. Like I never wanted to completely let go of it. And it just kind of expanded and evolved based on me and what I'm interested in. And that's one of the things that help propel me and keep me in business so long as that I'm not scared of change or evolving the original plan.
I love that. Because you want to know why I love that, Patricia, is because so many of us, including myself, when you go off the course of whatever it is that you have a plan for yourself, it scares you. And then also in some cases it stops you. So I'm so glad that you kept your creativity moving and didn't allow fear to stop you from doing what you do. But why did you choose the fashion design as a career?
Well, for me, it's not so much fashion design. I'm really into accessories and accessorizing. So I would get like really cool things here and there, and people would always compliment me on them. And as I started gathering pieces that were actually like from Africa, I remember feeling the joy of explaining where a piece was from, and that it was handmade. And because I handmade things myself, it's just something I connected with. And then speaking of evolving, people kept saying, oh, you should do clothes, you should sell clothes. And it's like, okay. So that's where I'm kind of at right now. I'm in that middle ground. Ali, stop covering my mouth.
Yes, so we have a special guest, and that's her son. And I'm so happy that he's able to be there with mom as she multitasks. And thank you so much for joining in. If you're joining in now, we just have an amazing entrepreneur here, Patrice, and she is the owner of the Motherland Plug. And I am so excited. So Patrice, oh my gosh, Patricia, what are you here? Let me correct myself. Patricia, I don't know why I'm saying your name incorrectly. We had a Patrice on here before, but Patricia is one of my favorite aunt's names, so I'm not going to get that wrong again. So when I look at you, I'll think of her, and I'll say it because I always said Aunt Patty. But I just think that you're amazing at what you do. And I can see why so many people. So, were you your first customer? So, would you wear some of your products and that's how people
Yes,
would see your
I wear
accessories?
stuff every day, like my watch, my bracelet. That's it right now. But I always wear my product because I truly believe that if I'm not willing to use something, how am I going to sell it to someone else?
Absolutely. And Patricia, to be totally honest, a coworker, shout out to Tamara Stretching. The first time I seen, she had a head wrap on, and it was so vibrant and it was gorgeous. And I was like, "Where did you get that?" And then she told me. So I've seen your products and the quality in person. And so if you're watching and you're wanting to discover all that she does, you can go and find her at the Motherland Plug, and I'll make sure I put that in banner so we can see it at the bottom of the screen and see the just the beauty of it, but the quality is just amazing. And there's so many matching pieces. The accessories have so many parts to it. So it's not just a head wrap and that's it, but you have so many different things. I think Tamara had a head wrap and you do face masks as well now.
I had face masks for a while. Yes,
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Oh
My
my
shop is a huge variety. It's constantly rotating. I don't
and so
specialize in like mass production, so it's kind of
yeah,
like unique pieces.
absolutely. And tell me a little bit more about like why you choose to get your the materials that you work with from Africa. What is that connection? Why is it so? I mean, it's in the name, and so
It's for me, it's not something you hear a lot. I think there's so many crafty and Ali, stop whining, please. There's so many artisans in Africa, and like as someone who does handmade things, I really appreciate the value of someone taking their time and using their hands to like really craft something. And I remember, everything is China, 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 Japan, like all these other countries. And it's like Africa has been stolen from resource wise for so much, and now we're not putting enough into it to value what the people are still offering to provide for us. I said Japan.
I think that's amazing. And not only that, I have a friend who's from Africa, and I was like, just asking. So, like the materials and the fabrics and all that she
Hmm.
are speaking about are so vibrant and so durable. So they're very lasting. So for you to research, and it seems like you research the things that you want to use. It's not just you automatically get that. So how much research do you put into what type of fabrics and the different textures that you use? How much time does that take for you to actually decide, like, this is what I want and this is why I want it?
Um, so that's a little bit of a tricky question because for me, some things are spur of the moment. Like I decided one day I wanted to do a subscription box, and then a week later I had a subscription box up and running. Some things are very planned out. Like right now, I'm in a very planning course where I'm picking fabrics and designs and colors. Um, I have to take a mission. I got a potty break. I'll be
Sure.
right back.
Absolutely. So if you're just now joining in, we have the amazing entrepreneur here tonight. Her name is Patrice. I'm sorry, Patricia. I'm gonna get that right. I don't know why I want to call her Patrice, but Patricia, and she is the owner of the Motherland Plug. So you see that location that you can find her to see some of her materials that she uses, some of the accessories. So she has the most amazing, vibrant, Afrocentric, bohemian, eccentric pieces ever. So you can get a head wrap, you can get a matching face covering, you can get a shirt, you can get a skirt, you can get a whole ensemble, you can get bracelets, you can get watches. So she is joining us. She's a mom and she's doing the mom in the business. So what I'm saying right now is you can toggle between the two and still be successful. So she had to take a quick potty break. Every mother understands that and has been there. When you are trying to do something, you have to do something else at the same time. And we successfully do that every single day. So shout out to her. And hi, I'll leave these here and our special guest to be able to show her motivation, inspiration, and drive on what she does. So I'm so glad that you're joining in. If you have questions for her, please put them in the comments and I'll ask on your behalf. But again, make sure you're following her, not just right now, but later as well, and get some amazing pieces, some original pieces as well. So we're going to continue this great conversation. And I love, Patricia, that you're a junior. Is that correct?
Hmm. Yes, I'm
Okay,
named after my mom.
I love that. So when I shared that with my son, he was like, "How dope is that?" So shout out to your mom. And I just thought that was so original. I believe me, there was one point I thought about doing that to my daughter. And then I said, "Oh, I don't know if I can do it to her." But
It took me
I
a
think
long time to appreciate it. So now I think it's cool and dope and unique. But as a kid, I used to be like, I didn't even get a name.
but Patricia is a beautiful name. And like I said, it means so much to me as well. And thank you so for being flexible and deciding like I can do this and I'm going to be a mom and entrepreneur on this live. And what you're showing is the real world of what it is to be an entrepreneur. It is
That's
not
what I'm
just like
thinking
I wake
about.
up in the morning, right, and I just do my work and I'm not interrupted. You are doing it. And so I hope that anyone who's watching who is a mom who is thinking that I can't do both or I can't have both, that is a lie. She just showed us and she's doing it so well and she's doing it so successfully. So yeah, and then here's my son, we're talking about your name. He's like, yeah, it's definitely dope. He really thought that was so dope. Thank you so much, Michael, for that. So I told you literally, he's like, Mom, that is so dope, their name. But I just want to continue this amazing conversation on what you do as well. But how did you get the concept or the idea
I've
for
been
your
named
business,
dinner.
Motherland?
Okay, I'm gonna blow it. So when I first started business, I was like I said on Etsy and I was crocheting things. Yummy. I'm gonna try the blue one. And okay. So my last name is Striggles, and because I was crocheting items, I called it Stringles. It was a play on words. And then my business started to evolve, and I started adding all these beautiful things from Africa. And the name just didn't fit no more. So I knew it was time for rebranding. And one night I was, I don't know what I was talking about on a voice note to my friends, and I said, yeah, because I'm trying to be the plug. I'm trying to be, the Motherland Plug. And I was like, that's it. And I went to sleep on it, and then I woke up, and it still felt right. So ever since I kind of claimed and found my name for myself, I've been able to, how when people are starting a business or doing something new, they tell you to find your niche, whatever people want to say it. That was the defining moment for me. And then I knew how to propel forward. And it kind of set my vision straight for what I wanted to do in terms of what type of items I wanted to sell, what type of demographic I wanted to sell to, who was my clientele, where my resources was coming from, where I was putting my money back in the community. Because one of the things I do, one of the things in shopping with my business is that one, I try to shop from small local African merchants. So whenever I'm hand making something, the fabric and stuff is picked from like some African shops around my neighborhood. So I'm putting funds back into my neighborhood and into the people. And then the other thing is that one of my biggest suppliers, they feed children who live in a or orphanage in Africa. So then things just started to click for me, and I have not been able to really look back or want to make change.
I love that story. I love how much you're using local businesses, you're giving back. There, not only you're an entrepreneur, but you're bringing awareness to the importance of why it's necessary to shop locally and why it's also very necessary to give back. And that's another, I think, like great recipe for abundance to keep happening to you as an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that it happens all at one time, but it will continue to happen. I just love that story, and I think it just shows a reflection of your heart, not just as an entrepreneur, but also as a person. So according to you, what would be like the best part of you doing what you do?
My favorite part of what I do is the creative process. So I like everything up to the selling. So the selling is the part that's like, ooh, when I make it big, I'm gonna pay someone else to handle that for me. But oh, thank you, I got fries now. The creative part of it is really hot. Okay, it's hot. Okay, I'll blow it. So like picking patterns, figuring out how I want to you know I care about y'all. I gave him a good pot to entertain him. Okay, now make something else. I got more space on my tray. Yeah, I got a lot of space. So just focus. The creative aspect. So I have an idea, light bulb goes off just like the cartoon. I like to take the piece of paper. I'm still write everything down, make a list. I have to visually deconstruct whatever it is I'm seeing in my mind step by step. And then I'm goal orientated. So once I have like a huge to-do list, I'm just, can't use scissors. I just keep going with it. So I don't know. I think I get amazed at how much I'm able to create and perfecting it over time.
Yeah. And do you find that you're more creative during the like first thing in the morning or late at night?
I think it changes. So like before I became a mom, it was more at night. But now that I'm a mom, it's more in the morning. Like now I'm trying to actually force myself to get up, before I leave the so that I can have that time and space for myself and knock out those little emails. And because during the day, who knows what it's going to be? I may get a lot of things done, I may not. But I know now if I carve out this piece of time to just kind of knock off the important things on my to-do list, I feel very fulfilled in starting my day. Like I feel like I accomplished something. As opposed to now, if I try to work at night and I fall to sleep, I feel a little bit of a regret. Like I didn't accomplish something for the day, and I don't like feeling that way. So I've switched to the morning shift per se.
Okay, I can totally understand that as well. And so your pieces that you create, are they just for, and I know, but I want our viewers to also hear, do you do it for like men and women and children, or is it just one specific category?
It's a variety shop. So for me, women is easiest because I'm the model for everything. I sell what I use, like I said earlier. Men's, so like one of our best selling items are these bandanas that I sew. And that is something that my fiance, he asked me one day, like, hey, I was making head. He's like, hey, give me a bandana. I was like, okay, I guess I could. So I made it. It was cool. I decided to sell a few, and now it's like a best selling item. So for the men's wear, it's kind of like I would love to serve that demographic more, that population, but I ain't a man.
Right.
So like I could do like bracelets and things like that. I don't even keep up with what's trending in menswear. So I only really know women's wear because that's what I'm, sold all the time. That's what people are marketing towards me. And like Pinterest boards, like I see fashion all the time. So it's easier. I try to stick with what I know because that's one thing about being a small business. You have to really pay attention to where you're investing your funds. I don't have disposable funds to experiment right now, especially since this is my only source of income. Well, for me,
Right.
not the household. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so if you're just now joining this episode of Chats with Chantla, thank you so much for joining and coming back every Monday at 7. We have the amazing featured entrepreneur, Patricia Striggles Jr., and she's the owner of the Motherland Plug. And I just think that what she's doing, how she's doing it is amazing. As you can see, she is an excellent multitasker. She has a special guest, Ali, her son, and she is here giving us insight on what she does and what she passionately does in designing accessories for women, men, and kids. And so if you are just now tuning in, make sure you hit the replay button. And also you follow her at the Motherland Plug. Go there right now so you can see some of her items, and maybe you have a question for her and you can put it in the comment and I'll ask on your behalf. We're going to continue this wonderful conversation. So Patricia, what is like, where do you gain your inspiration? Is it from a person? Is it from a place? Is it, from any, like, where is it from? Or is it a combination of all that inspires you?
I think it's a combination of experiences. So because my brand is so centered around myself, my personal style, my interests, all of it is based on what I've have experienced over time. I will say that I do get my hustle from my mom. Anybody knows my mom? No, she is a hustler. If it needs to be done, it's getting done. No ifs, ands, buts about it. One of those classic Black mom stories. So that's where I get my hustle and resilience from. But overall, I think it's just a stand of how I've grown up and what I've seen and things that one of the things they tell you when you start a business, like to be successful, is like if you can solve a problem. And my problem was that I couldn't find things that culturally connected for me. Thank you. Oh, you made me coffee. So
Thank you.
Finding something that connected me culturally was like that tying moment for me. I wanted to learn more about, ancestors and who we were before enslavement. And just one time I went to a shop in Harlem. I remember me and my fiance went in and I bought something and the lady had a backstory. And the backstory was like, oh, that sounds so amazing. And it made me cherish the piece even more. So I wanted to put
Mm.
those little joys in other people.
You want to know what? I agree with that 100% because I feel like there's so much power in storytelling. And if you can connect to the story, that's the buy-in. And then you love to relate and say, oh, I got this piece and this is how she does it, or this is how she makes it, or this is the material she gets it from. So I think that's a very like a way to connect people. And also what you're saying and what you're talking about, when you spoke about your mom, and just kudos to how she was to you and such a great influence. And also just, for the resilience that you spoke about and your perseverance. But it's just amazing to hear. So I think about like now when I do order my pieces, I'm going to be like, this is a part of Patricia because this is something she would wear. This is Afrocentric. This is eccentric. This is bohemian. And I look at you and I'm like, I can just tell that you are very proud of who you are as a woman, as a Black woman, what you do and how you represent yourself. You just look very strong to me. And I feel like that would be a great extension for me to wear it and feel that same way. Like, okay, I remember her as this, and I'm getting the opportunity to be an extension of her personality and her design and how she wants to impact the world. Because I think a lot of times people are wearing things for labels and not really caring where it came from, how it got there. It's all about, oh, did you see the latest? And this is what I have, instead of really behind it. So I love that you said that. I think it's so much more impactful.
Difference. That's the difference between style and fashion. Fashion is very fast paced, and you're buying things to be keeping up with the Joneses, and you're trying to be different, but you're just really buying labels to say that you have it or that someone else recognizes the status of you having these items. When style is something that's more hand-picked, unique items that really represent who you are, what you're trying to, because your appearance is the first thing you give off into the world when you meet somebody. Style is what that is. It's how you choose your hair, like that, the thought process behind what color you paint your nails. Like, this is what I'm trying to transcend into what you're wearing daily.
Wow, I love that, because if it looks like something from like, if you see it in the store, I'm not getting that from the store that the mannequin has on, because I'm not going to be looking like I had no original thought of anything. So I love that. But I do have a question from you. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Tamara. You are such a supporter. I appreciate you. She said, do you have an item or a piece from your shop that you are most proud of? And if so, why?
All right, Tamara, you just gonna do me like that? All right. So really I do have an item. Really so there's these berets that are Black Panther inspired. I released them, and I only released 12 at first. This was maybe 2 years ago. And I made it for myself. I made one hat for myself. And I figured, let me see if I could just sell 12, like there, Then I sold out. And I was like, people kept asking me for them. And I was like, okay, let me see if I can sell 12 more. And now they're just like available year round. But it was the fact that I sat down and my brain did that creative process of working backwards. I knew I wanted a beret. As soon as I thought Black beret, I thought about Black Panther Party. And then I wanted to educate people on what they did for, for the community before the tragic demise of them thanks to the FBI. But I wanted to pay homage, and I wanted to pay homage for myself. I wanted to make the hat for myself. And then it was amazing to find out that people around the world found value in something I created, because then it started going international. So it's like, oh, I'm sending one to France. Like, oh, y'all really want my Black Panther beret in France? Like, and I just remember the joy every time I got an order, because it was something original. Like, it wasn't something that I sourced from a local vendor, even though I love those items too. But this was something that came straight out of my brain and I brought to life.
I love that. And the reason why I'm so inspired by that is you started out with one piece, then you went to 12 pieces, and then you went to more and you added. But the other thing if no one else caught it, so you have international customers. So you actually serve people throughout the world. So you're shipping all over the place and doing that. How was that when you got your first international sell? Do you remember that?
I don't remember the first one. I do remember kind of. So one of the hurdles everybody has to get over when you become an entrepreneur, when you're selling a physical product, is actually shipping the product. Like it's a lot of trial and error. So like if you sell something fragile, you got to get the bubble wrap right. You got to get the weight right. You got to get the label right. And I remember the first time I printed the international label, and it looked completely different than my normal label, and I was thrown off. So I get to the post office. I remember the postal service being like, "Oh, you have to sign here. I'm gonna have to sign the label." That doesn't make sense to me. But I don't remember getting the actual order, but I do remember that moment of I hope I did everything right with this label so that this item reaches the person.
I love that. I love that. So you said you still have the berets, you still sell them?
Mm-hmm.
Do the items since you're so big on like storytelling, do you put a story in with the item, or how do people get the backstory to the items that they're purchasing?
So for me, if the story is just available, it's in the description. So like, oh, I was gonna put them on the Fulani hoop earrings. If somebody went to purchase those, it tells you the history of the Fulani people and where it's handmade in Mali and the value of it looking like gold. So it gives you all that backstory. For as many pieces that I can get information on, I try to provide. Just like when people order mud cloths, I'm in the process of updating it, but I used to put in the insert how to care for the mud cloth, facts about the mud cloth. There's like a thing on my website you could download for free about the history of mud cloth. So, if somebody was to place an order, I would sometimes send them that link, just so that people are well informed, because I want to share. I want to create that joy and share what I see the value of. Like I love mud cloth. I love how each and every piece is handmade and individual. Like even if you get a white mud cloth with black triangles, there is no match out there that's going to have the triangles in the exact same spot. I love unique things if you have not
Yeah.
come to terms to realize. So I really want people to feel that special pride when they're ordering from me. So I try to give as much information I can. Sometimes I only have a little bit of information, like where it was made, but for the most part, if you go to my site, if I know where it's made, it's put in parentheses. If it's made in like a African country, it's printing the parentheses next to the name of the product. And I know that makes the product name really long, but it provides information that I think is important to the buyer. So I always have to include that. And I put the flag that matches that place it was made so that people can start recognizing the flag and the name. So like when you see Mali, you're going to see the same flag all over my website.
I love
so I just like to teach. I wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. So this is fun to me.
Yeah, it's a great way. And if anybody is like me, I love to know the origin of things. I was the kid that used to read the cereal box, but I wanted to read it to say made in. And to this day, I still do the same thing. I think that there's a connection that you want to make. And when I was younger, I used to be like, I wonder if there's a little girl somewhere else doing the same thing. If it was in, Wisconsin or wherever, I was very interested in that. So for you to do that, it really feeds the curiosity that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are probably many more of your customers that really appreciate that. And so, when you're talking about the mud cloth, I don't want to go past that because I don't want to take for granted that people know what that is. Do you mind giving us a little brief description of what mud cloth is?
Okay. I actually can show you. I have one hanging right here.
That's even better. I know, Trey. I am the same way. Thank you so much for joining. I love to know where things come from. It just really makes a connection for me, and it just makes me, I don't know, it satisfies my curiosity in so many ways. So yeah, I love that. So she is our featured entrepreneur tonight is getting an item which called is mud cloth, and so she's going to share that with us. So thank you so much for getting that. So you're getting unique pieces, like it may look like it's the same, but it's not the same. And I love that's what Patricia is doing. And so if you have not found her, go and find her. She's on Facebook and Instagram at the Motherland Plug. So just, connect with her and find out. So go ahead.
This is a mud cloth. This is one design.
Yeah.
It's funny because I just took all the rest into storage. I have to photograph each and every one of them because they're not the same. So it takes me a while. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes they wrinkle and I have to steam them. But this is a mud cloth. So this is black with white. It has a very simple design where it's like the same pretty much throughout. Okay, here goes a great example of what I was explaining.
Yes.
See the distance between this and then the distance between
Yes.
that? That's that unique property because it's not being
Love
made
it.
by a machine. And what
Love
mud
it.
cloths are is, although some people tend to use them as a blanket, I don't recommend that because they're made with actual mud. So I'm not going to sleep on. They're a little rough too. People be surprised by that when they receive them, but they're hand woven. They're made one at a time, and none of the two pieces are alike. Is what I said. And people use them for clothing. Home decorations is what I usually push for customers to do because you can make something really simple by just hanging this on the wall as a tapestry. To be honest. But they're dyed by hand, and sometimes they come with symbols. So this is the interesting part. I don't need my phone no more because I got this. So it comes with symbols. This one doesn't have a symbol,
I love your
but
excitement, by the way.
sometimes they have like a cowrie shell, and that's symbolic of wealth, and also a cowrie shell was a type of currency. So that picture of a cowrie shell has its own meaning, and sometimes that's on mud cloths. The Sankofa, you can see the bird. These are okay. One of my hurdles, though, as an entrepreneur, is like I'm not good with like pronouncing words. So, and it's a completely different language, so it gets confusing. But I think there are Dinkra symbols, and Sankofa is one of them. And what Sankofa means is that it's when you look back in the past and you pretty much take from the past to move toward the future. Like what you learned back then, you hold on to. You hold on what you need from back then to take you forward. That's the best way I can kind of explain what Sankofa is. And it has two symbols. There's a symbol with a bird, which is here and there, but then there's a symbol with like a heart, and it like curls up. I have the tattoo actually, and you will see that on mud cloth. So like when you see an actual symbol and you know the meaning behind it, it makes the piece even more special. So when I'm photographing and I see it has like a Dinkra symbol, I will go out my way to put what that symbol means, because that can be the selling point to someone. Like, oh, this was made and then it has this tie that means prosperity and wealth, or like a lot of things mean fertility a lot of times, I've noticed, and that could mean something to someone and make them want it. Like you feel like it was made just for you, for whatever circumstances you're going through, or whatever healing you may need. I feel like those are the little markers that can really make a piece unique. So I share it as much as I can. But that is a mud cloth. They're actually one of our best sellers. It took a while. I didn't carry mud cloths for a long time, and then fortunately I found a woman who would help me like get a supplier and be able to provide it. So I'm so grateful for her. She's amazing. And now it's one of my best selling items too.
I love that. I love that you just gave us a little brief history lesson on that. And I'm definitely going to be looking into that, because I would definitely want to put some of the mud cloth in my home and also give that as some gifts. I think people would be very interested in having those items. But also, before we move any further, we do have a question from Tanisha Stretching, and she's Tamara's sister. And she said that she just wanted to know if you had like one piece of advice that you would want to share with someone who is starting their journey in entrepreneurship. So they're just beginning. So what would that advice be?
The cliche answer would be not to give up. But I can't tell you that that's something easy to tell somebody to do, because for me, you have to be open to reinventing yourself and changing the road toward your destination. I would not be where I am today if I kept the same vision. Like, there was no way I was going to be able to crochet 50 orders a week. Like, I started out with something small, but I had to let go of the way I thought I was going to be down this road and just kind of go with the flow of things. And you have to be open to suggestions, and you also got to learn how to like take breaks. And it's, I would say right now in this day and age that someone beginning their entrepreneur journey needs to begin the journey with themselves first. You have to know who you are, what you want, what you're accepting, what you're not going to accept, because all of that comes to play in running your business. Like, there are practices that I do not abide by. And if I don't have those standards and disciplines within myself and who I am and my strengths, I'm not going to be able to carry that out within my business. So I have to know who I am and what I'm standing for. If you're going to get in it just for money, then you know that it's going to be, the road may be quick, the road may be plentiful, you may get money, but at the end of the day, you're probably not going to be happy with what you're doing for people or how you're getting over on people, how people's toes you're stepping on. So you have to really sit down and think it out. But I do highly recommend everybody, if you're something you're interested in, give it a try, because you never know. I would have never thought I would be doing this full time. And Tamara has seen me do it full time from her sister's couch, talking to interns and trying to juggle a social life, like all of that. She's seen that. So balance is, if you think balance is hard with a 9 to 5, balance is even harder as an entrepreneur, because it's only you responsible for your actions. You're not answering to nobody. So you have to have that discipline.
Absolutely. I think that is amazing advice. And I love the advice that you gave about learning, not just your business, but learning yourself first. Because I think that is where a lot of entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs kind of go down the wrong path, because they're chasing the wrong thing. And then they find out that it doesn't align with them. And you created this brand or this persona that now you have to like rebrand yourself, and it may not connect to the current audience or the current clients or customers you have, because you want to change. So I love that, and all the other advice that you said. And I just think, like, Tanisha and Tamara, to know you personally and see the journey firsthand and be able to support you, I'm so glad, because they're referral advocates for you. They speak on your behalf and talk about the things that you're doing, and not only talk, but they're also wearing. But Tanya Brown, who is a constant viewer of Chats with Chantla, said that she wants to get a mud cloth, and then her nephew's like, he's gonna definitely check it out. He thinks that it's dope, and he wants one because they're homemade. So what I love that you are just doing is you're educating us, not just you as an entrepreneur in your journey, but the materials that you use and the history of it. And I think it just makes us even more prideful in what we have more pride in what we have in our homes or what we're wearing. I mean, there's a lot of history in all that you're using. There's a lot of influences and a lot of what you're using. So, what has been one of your greatest influences when you took this journey into fashion to be able to do what you're doing?
That's a toughie. Let's see. So when I first, I'm not raised in like internet world. So like we had internet, but you still had like, face-to-face interactions with people and all of that great stuff. So when I first decided to embark on my internet journey, I was going to be a fashion blogger. I dress up every day. I used to work at the public library on 42nd Street, and I was dressing to the nines, taking pictures. And this was before anybody was like really doing it, but nobody really cared. Like I had a little small following, but I was just interested in doing it because I knew I love fashion. Like I really love vintage and unique things. Like I'm a huge thrifter, so I guess the perfect example would be this shirt. I thrifted this shirt maybe, let's see, before I was a mom. This shirt has to be like 10 years old, and because it's thrifted, it's older than that. And the sleeves, I had to upcycle it. I had to sew the sleeves down because it was giving me some trouble. It was starting to fray, but I knew the value of this shirt, and I could not let it go. So I've always really been tied to fashion, but never really like the name stuff. Like I don't watch runway shows. I don't follow fashion brands. I follow some fashion designers, but overall, it's just always something that I've been interested in. And I think it's because, not even that I think, I've read recently about the about love languages, and the quote has said something about the love language that you need is what you was deprived as a child. And then I started thinking about that deeper on other levels and avenues of life, and it made me think about my love for fashion. How growing up, I didn't have much. Like I was wearing I don't have a brother or sister, but like hand me downs from like cousins and stuff. So I never really got that opportunity to pick my fashion out and define my style until I was older and working. That's enough. So now I can't let that go. I'm like filling a void. I'm not pressing the X. I just want to kiss you. That's pretty much where it's at. I don't sew. So like palazzo pants and things like that you see on the website, those are sourced. I sew 2 pairs of pants in my life. Everything I do, I'm self-taught at. So I taught myself how to use the sewing machine. I taught myself how to crochet. I taught myself marketing. I taught myself video editing back when I was a YouTuber. I just always explored life based on my interests, and fashion has always been the consistent thing.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that because when I look at you, I can tell you're an individual. Like you're not someone who's going into the store to pick up something. Like I can tell that, and I'm a huge thrifter as well. I just think that you get some of the most amazing things. I love vintage. I love, separating myself from the crowd. I don't mind standing alone, but I think that's amazing. Tanya said, wow, she loved that story. And Tamara, just, I can see it, Tamara, without knowing her personally, that your dedication and discipline is out of this world. And just the reason how we know, like, I can affirm that with Tamara is that I'm just listening to you and I'm looking at you. And it's just, I just want to acknowledge that, I just felt there's a rarity that I see in you as a person. And I know that that's what comes through in your entrepreneurship. So I think that is extremely special. And that is why I think like having featured entrepreneurs on Chats with Chantla, the mission is to build, connect, and collaborate. But if you aren't sharing your story, a lot of the viewers who are watching it now live with us and then will go back and watch it would not know the backstory and just see and say, oh, she's just another person who's doing this and doing that, but not really knowing the backstory to really connect to you. And connection is
to do. You start telling your story, people are more interested in helping someone who is like them to see them grow than you just selling them something.
Absolutely. And you said it earlier that if you want to become an entrepreneur, most times you go to places or people because they're solving a problem. Like you go to Target, you go to Walmart, you go to all these other places because there's a need and they have something in that store that you're getting a solution for. Same thing with you. Like I want to look different. I want to have original pieces. I want to be able to tell someone a story. And you can't get that at Walmart or Target because those are mass produced things that you can then you wonder why you're walking down the street and then you're like, oh, she's the same dress as I do.
I used to be like that when Fashion Nova first came out. And you'd be at like a party and it's like, oh, she got on the same dress. And you'd be like, huh, not me.
Absolutely not you. Absolutely not you. So if you're just now joining in, we have the amazing entrepreneur, Patricia Striggles Jr., and she's the owner of the Motherland Plug, and she does amazing pieces, Afrocentric, bohemian, eccentric. You are seeing it like you just missed it about the mud cloth. Go back, hear the story with the replay, and then follow her at the Motherland Plug. It's right there on your screen. I want to continue this amazing conversation. How has becoming an entrepreneur impacted other areas of your life?
I guess that circles back around to discipline because I'm very go with the flow, spontaneous personality usually, but I'm also very goal oriented. So like for me personally, being a business owner has really caused me to look at myself on the outside. Excuse me. And although I do everything myself and I pride myself on that, that's probably just me being a Capricorn, but like I pride myself on that I do everything myself and I'm honestly self-made, like to the definition to the T. But I have come to a point where I have to step back and examine where I can apply help because I may be my own hurdle. So it makes you look out of yourself and see like, okay, Patricia, yeah, you're juggling all of this, but are you juggling it well? Is it time to ask for help? Because personality, just being who I am, I'm not asking for help. But to be successful, I need the help. So you have to really take yourself out of your own personality sometimes to make the important decisions.
Absolutely. I love that. You're dropping gems and amazing takeaways tonight. Thank you so much for that, Patricia. You're just being very transparent and honest. Sometimes people want to sugarcoat the journey of entrepreneurship. And that's why so many people want to jump ship and just, jump their 9 to 5 and go into this. And they're like, oh my gosh, they did not share that part with me that I'm going to have to wake up early, stay late. I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to lose money before I make money. All these different things that people aren't really communicating. So thank you for your authenticity and just all you're doing to be transparent in sharing your journey into entrepreneurship. My other thing is, as you do so many things and you're self-made, how are you marketing your business?
So for me, Instagram is it all. Instagram, and then recently Pinterest. And the only reason Pinterest is taking off is because I was blessed enough to have some intern help recently, and she was able to like go in and really set my Pinterest up so that way it kind of looks like a shop. So I'm seeing things from Pinterest, but overall, Instagram is my my comfort zone. It's what I know. So even in doing this interview today, it was like, oh my goodness, Facebook. I'm never on Facebook. Oh my gosh. I hope everything goes well. I don't know anything really about being on live on Facebook, but everything's going fine. But you know your comfort zone. And for me, for marketing, it's Instagram. TikTok, that's okay. So this is gonna be another gym, but you have to also know where your demographic lies. TikTok is cool. The videos are funny. It's trending. You can get a lot of followers on TikTok quick, but those TikTok followers aren't my clientele. I'm looking for a more mature crowd. So I can't waste my social media hours out the day on an app that's not gonna, put funds in my pocket at the end of the day. So you have to kind of find which platform that is. And the reason Pinterest works for me is because I sell a lot of home goods. So laundry baskets, things like that. And Pinterest is the new it spot for like shopping. Like, oh, this is cute, home decor, aesthetics. Whereas Instagram is very personable. That's where people can just like reach out to me. And sometimes people are shocked that I actually reply. It may take a while, but I actually reply, or like, that I'm a real human being behind a brand. And then Facebook is just like home.
Yeah.
Personal.
Gotcha. So you just alerted me to something else. So do you create home decor items as well? So it's not just
home decor items.
Wow. Okay. So I'm
I
gonna
really
be
want to be my favorite store shopping growing up was Urban Outfitters. But Urban Outfitters is fast fashion, and not talk about any brand, but like I'm trying to be that, but with the connection to heritage and culture, and I want to be a one-stop shop. I'm a variety shop, and my goal, maybe about 2 years ago, I decided that I want to be to the point where if I post a photo, I can tag everything in that photo from my shop. It's a big goal, but we're getting it.
I love that. And do you think that going to thrift shops inspire you to be that way? Because you kind of find a little bit of everything in some of the thrift stores that you go to, at least the ones that I frequent. There's like a little bit of everything that you can find in them. Do you feel like that may have a little influence in that decision as well?
I do think so. I think I'm really big on any type of variety shop. So I'm my ideal customer. So I always try to sell myself. And with that being said, I know I like Marshalls. I like TJ Maxx. I like the idea of finding something exciting. I like thrift shops. I like that feeling of you never know what you're going to get. You never know how much it's going to be. You never know, what deal you're going to snag. Or so when I'm browsing online, I'm more likely to buy at a shop that sells a variety of things because I can get something for everything I need, as opposed to buying, like, it's very rare that I buy something, just strictly from a clothing brand or strictly from a jewelry brand. Like, I have to really be crushing hard on those items. I like variety, and it makes it easier to check out. So it's like, oh, you came here for some palazzo pants or a long skirt for your Juneteenth festival, but look over here, we got nice papers for your house. I used to have like toilet paper dispensers and baskets. I have purses. Just like, it's one of those, if you come over here and if you got an Afrocentric kind of life, kind of style, or you interested in getting into that, this shop is going to fit your needs. It's like walking into an African market. And because I live in New York, Harlem is a very big African market. I wanted to be like those street vendors for people who didn't have that in other places. Like, I can just go to Harlem, but in Arkansas, where are they going?
Right.
Where are they getting incense and body oils and shea butter?
Absolutely. I love that. I love all of what you're saying. You're just hitting home with me. So I love, and there's so many other people that want that as well. But like you said, they don't know how to get it. But I have another question. And this question is from Tamara. And she said, being that your degree is in a separate career path, what are some ways you incorporated the skills from your degree that you are now putting into your business?
All right, Tamara, here we go again. So yes, I have a master's degree in recreational education. So like on my career path, I was on track to be a recreational therapist. I do believe in the power of play. I believe in everything that I went to school for. I love to build. For me, my ultimate goal is to get to a point where I have a space. And in this space, I want to provide recreational activity to the community. So you tend to hear, there's always like a basketball program. There's always like, art. And the art be limited. Like I've never found an art class when I was younger that met my needs. Like I never had sewing as an option or, just I want to start incorporating recreation into promoting my business and community engagement. So like I used to, because I'm pretty sure Tanero knows this, but I used to have like double Dutch meetups where people could just get together and it's come jump rope, relive that experience with you. Like let some of the stress go and have some fun for a moment. And when you're having fun, you're being social, you're decreasing stress, you're making memories. Your brain is kind of off the clock because you're focused on what you're doing. And it's a great community builder. And I remember growing up, I didn't even realize this till I was older, but most people who were coming into the community to provide these services were not me. They didn't look like me.
Yes.
It kind of felt like I was just a checklist off their philanthropy list. Like, oh, let's stop by this because the Bronx is, like the poorest zip code, something in America. Let's just stop by for pictures and stuff. And like, I want to be in the community and providing for them too.
I love that. So I'm glad that was an excellent question, Tamara. I'm glad that you were able to ask that. So this question comes from Tanisha, and she said, have you ever had a customer that was dissatisfied with the purchase, and how did you handle it? Tanisha.
So usually Tanisha knows. Usually voice know her first, and then after frustration. So this is how I handle bad customer service. Like somebody's not happy. First, I need to vent because I'm human. Like I have emotions. I get annoyed. I get upset, but I can't vent at the customer. They're here. They're looking for a solution, and that's not the type of energy I want to put out. So I go. I talk to my friend. I make sure you make sure you ain't tripping. Your friend and like, what happened? I'm like, girl, I know. Right. And then I get back into my professionalism, put on my good old savvy voice. It still works. And I let them know the policy, I always try to give a solution. So as much as I may not like what the customer is saying or that, that I feel like they're gypping me or anything like that, but I still always try to give a solution because I've been on the other end. I've been the customer who package was late, even though the policy said it's going to take, may take up to 7 days for processing. I've been the customer who feels like a product didn't hold up to its expectation. And then, you're saying something and you feel like the owner isn't hearing you out. And that's one of the things about shopping with small businesses is that you're actually talking to me when you email me. It doesn't matter if you email my business email, my CEO email, or if you email the general info email, you're still talking to me, and people know that. So sometimes I feel like they can talk a little harsh or feel like they're addressing me like, because you don't give the same energy to Target. Like you're not emailing Target with like exclamation points because those exclamation points get me hot. Like don't use capitalized letters. Like you're not giving that energy to any of these corporations just because you know the face behind the brand. You feel like a lot of people feel like they can talk to me that way. Not a lot. Let's clarify. Some people feel like they could talk to me that way, and you kind of have to set them clear, but also find a way where ideally you don't want to lose a customer. I'm trying to be fair. Like there's always going to be a middle ground unless you overstep, unless you ask for something crazy. But I'm always trying to be reasonable and see their side of it. I always try to see their side of it, even if it makes me put my own pride aside. But you do need that moment to vent. Like, I'm not tripping right now. I can't believe this is happening.
No, absolutely. So Tanisha is yours and Tamara is mine. So thank goodness for the teachers, because people would be getting a lot more raw, Chantla, if it wasn't for that. So they're the buffers. They're definitely the buffers that, help. Because like you said, you got to step back and come out of your own emotion and be able to go back and be able to provide that solution. But we definitely need those buffers. So I thank both of them for being that to each of us in different times that we need it. Absolutely. And then when you think about the Motherland Plug, where do you see the Motherland Plug 10 years from
now? I don't know, because I didn't see it getting this far today. If you would have told me I'll be doing this full time, I would not have believed it. And when I say that, like I can't do things full time without support. Yes, I'm self-made, but I have a very strong support system, and like from my mom, who's entertaining me right now to the best of her ability because he's fed up with me right now, to like my fiance who would have been entertaining Ali, but he had to work late. Just making those adjustments in life. I'm self-made, but I'm not on this journey alone.
Mhm.
And I know, like, even Tanisha be like, "Oh, I'll cut some flyers for you. Oh, I'll do this. I'll do that." She's like my little assistant. I love it. She makes phone calls for me because I hate making phone calls. But all of that in becoming the Motherland Plug 10 years from now, I just want to be. I'm a very giving person, and I want to be able to give back to those who help me get where I am. One, I want to be debt free. 10 years from now, I need to be debt free. I'm talking about college debt. I'm working on that, like, because I'm starting a thrift shop. Funds are only going toward getting out of debt. Um, I want to leave a legacy, and I don't know what that legacy is going to be. I can't say 10 years from now I'm still going to be torn, like still tied to Motherland Plug. This can be a completely different experience for me 10 years from now. But in 10 years, I know that I'm going to still be out here being my unique, resilient self. And whatever that is, it will come, life will take me.
I love your smile. I love your energy. You're so thoughtful. And what I enjoy about this whole experience is that I just feel like I'm getting to know you more just as well along with the viewers. And it's just something. I think your story is just really heartwarming, and it evokes something in me. So when I'm looking at you, it makes me even more proud to be a Black woman and be an entrepreneur and doing the things that we need to do, and understanding why you do it. But also when it comes to, like, when I'm thinking about fashion and I'm thinking about the clothing pieces, I do want to be more of an original. I want to be able to express myself and be like, yep, that's only Chantla could put, was wearing that, or that piece was only made for her, something like that. Because it's just an extension, and I totally understand when you're talking about leaving legacies. That is the evidence, especially. I always tell my kids, I have 3 kids, I'm like, you are the only evidence right now that I exist on life, like on this planet, that I had life on this planet, because you're my legacy.
Wow.
They all look at you and know that there was a mom. But I think it's amazing. And other people are agreeing with what you just shared, saying, yes, they agree with that. And life will, and life will take me. And I just really appreciate the support that people are giving you, the encouragement, the understanding, the hope. I think that would probably be the descriptive word that I would use when I'm talking to you, is I feel a lot of hope
Uh-huh.
when you're speaking. It makes me, that's a great way to describe how I'm feeling as you speak. Because there's a lot of tragedy and trauma that's going on in the world, but as you speak, I'm like, there's light, there's hope, there's the hope that things can get better. There's more people that can become very aware of why they put certain clothing pieces on, where it comes from, and not be so attached to the labels and the different things like that, but pour into your local businesses, and especially Black business owners that are doing some great things, just like
Mm-hmm.
Patricia here is doing that. Like the Motherland Plug, as she said, is self-made in regards to the creativity and how it comes to her, but she has a team of people that are supporting to make sure that she's successful, and she shouted so many people out, and I appreciate that. But we, here on Chats with Chantla, myself and the viewers, we want to help you, and we want to be able to support you. So if you could share your social media platforms with us, we would love that, because a lot of times people go right on there and we find you and we want to support you. So I know on Instagram you're at the Motherland Plug, but I don't want to assume that's your social media
That
handle
is,
for everything.
that's it on everything.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so, again, can you tell us some of the pieces that we can look for when we get to the Motherland Club? I mean, Plug. It's women's pieces, accessories, men's, or
Mm-hmm.
do you do things for children as well?
Um, children, children items are in the works. Now that I have a little kid model, I mean,
Right.
so overall, I'll tell you some of the things that best sell are like we're good for mud cloths, we're good for bandanas, head wraps. I make scrunchies, so like little gifts. It's usually a lot of things people shop for. There are traditional things such as like shea butter, incense, like this, like it's like I think it's 60 incense for $10. It's like 60 or 90. It's one of those numbers. a lot of flavors. But one thing I always tell people is that I have access to so many products that I cannot possibly list them all. So I encourage people who actually get to hear me speak, or or follow me along the journey, to ask and let me know what they need so I can possibly help them find it, because I cannot. Africa provides a plethora. That's always a funny word to use. They provide
Yes.
a plethora of goods, and I cannot in my little apartment photograph and house everything. So like sometimes I have people ask for like certain mud cloth prints, like something similar, and when I'm out shopping, I'll keep an eye out for that. And I have things like sometimes I have t-shirts, but right now my focus is getting back all the handmade things I used to make, like sunglasses holders. I used to make clutches, baby blankets, all those handmade items that you can pick what type of fabric you want, more personalized things that I'm making myself, and then growing the thrift shop. Those are my two focuses right now. So that's probably what you're going to see a lot of. But I sell things like toothpaste, like neem toothpaste, which is really popular, or deodorants, hair oils, Chibe, which is very popular for growing hair. I have the powder, the oil, the
Wow.
grease. Yeah, variety shop.
Yeah, I love that. So I'll be probably picking up some things for my son and his locks, and my other kids with items like that they would. Definitely. So getting stuff for my little sugar babies. But what else I love is that, you're just sharing, you're telling them we're being educated, but you're just, like I said, a true inspiration. So I'm going to remove myself from the screen for just a moment. And I want to share, I would like for you to share some final words with our viewers on how to encourage them and motivate them to continue on their journey of entrepreneurship.
So, now that it's just me on the screen, I feel very impactful. Let me get my sophisticated sit on. So, Ali, you can hear this too. Yeah. So my words of encouragement, or like ending this out, would be that you need to stay true to yourself and follow your path. Do not feel obligated to be an entrepreneur. It's not a talk. It's a video. Don't be encouraged to be an entrepreneur because someone told you can, or that you feel pressured to be. Do what you truly have desires to do. It doesn't have to be selling. Some people are very passionate about dance, about step, about being a doctor, a teacher. Those are all great jobs. I can't be an entrepreneur without employees. So we need employees. Entrepreneurship is hard. And if you're truly interested in it, then go for it. But do not feel the pressure that a 9 to 5 is not good enough, because whatever makes you happy. Yes, you're hungry and you're hot, and I'm gonna make you something to eat. Whatever makes it easier for you to get out of bed at night, and whatever provides back to the causes that you find important in life, is what you need to go towards. I am very grateful to have the opportunity to talk. Thank you for putting up with my co-host here. He's also my coworker. That's what I call him on she's back. Yeah, that's what I call him on Instagram. This is my coworker. He helps me pack orders. He puts the little business cards in every order. So yeah.
I think you're amazing, and Ali, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your beautiful face with us and showing us that your mom is such an amazing multitasker. But it has been another opportunity for me to get to build, connect, and collaborate with featured entrepreneurs such as yourself. So if you're just now joining in, we're at the conclusion, but you can always hit the replay to learn more about Patricia Striggles Jr. And I may have said your last name incorrect. I'm tearing the names up today. But she is the owner of the Motherland Plug. I am so appreciative of everyone that was able to join in and get it firsthand. Patricia, you have been such an amazing inspiration. Like, you are the sunshine. You are the sunshine that I needed today for on this rainy day. So I really appreciate it. Like, I feel myself getting a little like, why are you getting emotional? I just want you to know that I'm proud of you. I see you and I'm rooting for you. I want you to be your very best version of yourself, and whatever I can do to help bridge the gaps in the places that you need to get to and connect to, please feel free to reach out to me and the viewers. If you are looking for unique pieces, Mother's Day is next Sunday. It doesn't mean that it has to come on Sunday. Mother's Day is every day. Get your mother a unique piece. Make sure you find that unique piece at the Motherland Plug. Go there now. Do not hesitate. Do not wait. Go and get your unique piece. be able to honor somebody in the way that you would want to honor them. And one of the greatest ways of doing that through your heritage, through your culture, and connecting with the Motherland Plug. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Chats with Chantla. See you next week.